I want you to stop what you're doing and go to sadgirlapparel.com because we have new bundles. We've bundled up a bunch of stuff together in a little package. You guys can buy them. Bundles.
Can I tell you something? I don't really care about the movie Holes. I'm 26 years old. When the movie Holes came out, I was a teenager. I read the book, went and saw the movie in the theater. I even owned the DVD. And yet I have no nostalgia for the movie Holes. Put it on in my living room while I'm cooking dinner. See if I turn away from my sausage and peppers I'm making. I won't, because I don't even need to catch a glimpse of the movie Holes. For me, the movie Holes holds no sentimental value. Sorry.
Hello, Steven.
What?
Why'd you do it, Steven?
What?
So Holes is a movie that most people know and love, you know, especially if you're around my age. It's a timeless classic, and honestly, it's probably one of my most watched movies as a kid. And I'm sure most of you know this, but the movie was based on a novel, which I did read when I was younger. Yes, I am a nerd. And this is just one of those classics that honestly, it's really hard to hate, you know? A movie of two intertwining stories spanning across many generations, obviously starring the wonderful, absolutely insane Shia LaBeouf back when he wasn't as insane, you know, famously known as the actor who played in Do It. Remember that meme? That was funny. I'm laughing. And I've seen it so many times as a kid. I was genuinely expecting to just be bored the whole time when I'm watching it as an adult, because, you know, it's just one of those things where like, oh, okay, this happens here, this is gonna happen next. Like we all know what's gonna happen. But honestly, it is still just a good goddamn movie. It's just entertaining. And whether or not you have nostalgia for it, you know, maybe you don't, maybe you've never seen it. I even think you can watch it today. You have no idea what it is, still enjoy this movie. So let me just put on my headphones. You guys can grab a little bit of popcorn. We'll watch it together as a family. Here we go. What are these not working?
I can fix that.
Get out of my house, you crazy person, please.
Well, I definitely can fix that with some new Raycon earbuds.
You son of a bitch, don't you dare do an ad placement.
Raycon is single-handedly changing the game in the electronics industry by making something that is amazing while at the same time being about half the price of all the premium earbuds out there. With 6 hours of playtime, I don't really think you need more fixing than that. Raycon offers these earbuds in many different colors and patterns. We're in the new age, baby. Wires are gone. It's all about the wireless now. And if you're sitting there thinking, oh, this ain't cool enough, well, this company was co-founded by
Ray J.
That's pretty damn epic if you ask me. And I know all of you are wondering, I know all of you are thinking, maybe I can't handle the price. Well, I can fix that.
By giving you 15% off your order if you go to buyraycon.com/Bionicpig.
I can fix that. I can fix that.
So the movie starts out, we're out in the desert, there's a bunch of people digging holes, and this dude who is named Barfbag sees a rattlesnake, and he thinks, hey, let's go get bit. And later on in the movie, we kind of piece together like the reason he got his toe bit by this rattlesnake is so he could go to the hospital and get out of digging holes. Basically, right off the bat, we're kind of setting like, yo, this place is so goddamn torturous, a dude would rather get his toe bit by a rattlesnake than anything else. So then we meet Stanley Yelnats, who gets hit in the back of the head with a pair of shoes. And apparently these shoes are very expensive and were stolen, so he gets arrested by the cop. And we get a little bit of narrative backstory that Stanley kind of has a buttload of unlucky in his life. And he mentions a little something about a curse that we'll learn more about later. So then we meet Stanley's family, who is obsessed with feet. The smell of delicious feet. Oh, God. That's crazy. This is like before the foot fetish meta was around. But basically, Stanley's dad apparently is like a scientist who is trying to discover the one thing that could cut out foot smell forever. And I guess his methods require him to just have shoes that smell like utter shit all over his house all the time. Feet. feet.
Now that is a fine pair of shoes. Could I just smell your shoe?
So Stanley Yelnats the fourth, you know, the generational name situation. He goes to court and tells the judge, yo, shoes fell from the sky. No idea where you're talking about. I don't know how it happened. Obviously, the judge doesn't believe him, so he gives him a choice, either Camp Green Lake or prison. So obviously he chooses Camp Green Lake, which is in turn just pure torture, as you will see. Now, a little bit of an interesting fact about this part. You see like how there's thousands of holes around, and obviously, you know, you can easily be done by computer effects. But apparently the production team dug like over 400 holes, which is crazy. Like, I'm sure they're not actually as deep as they are in the freaking movie, but apparently they like manually dug like 400 different holes for this movie, which is pretty impressive. I mean, I guess it makes sense for the movie called Holes. Digging holes. There's a joke somewhere in there. So the first person we meet in this is Mr. Sir, kind of like a hard-ass guy with a mullet who for some reason spits out his sunflower seed shells into a jar. I don't know why he's doing that. Like, it makes sense for like spitting tobacco, but like, are you saving him? You saving the seed shells? What are you doing? So Mr. Sir kind of runs down the line of everything that's going on. Basically, he says, yo, how we teach you to be a better person is we make you thirsty. That's kind of, they make you thirsty. I mean, they also dig holes, but like the majority of like the thing is like, yo, you don't get to drink much water. What kind of shit is that? But then he explains to him that there's no fence or anything. Like, he could run away anytime he wants. But the problem is yellow spotted lizards. Them thing will bite you down in a minute. Sorry, I just produced my inner southerner right there. But basically, they don't care if you escape, which obviously a little bit of foreshadowing there. And then we meet Dr. Pandensky, who is just basically called Mom throughout, and he is by far the worst possible counselor to ever exist in all of humanity. If anything, he's just an anti-counselor. He does everything to make sure everyone hates him and makes them feel worse. It's just great counseling. And then we meet some of the other friend cast that we're going to meet along the way. X-Ray, Squid, and Armpit. Pretty much every person that is in this group tends to have a cool ass nickname. I think my nickname would be Slice, Razor Burn. Please leave me a good nickname in the comments. I need a good nickname. And this is where the great counseling begins. So we meet Zero, who is going to be one of the main characters in the movie, obviously. So the counselor, you know, the one who's supposed to be helping them with all of their mental problems and make them feel better, goes over to Zero and says, yo, he's called Zero because he's fucking stupid. He has nothing in his brain. Absolute idiot. So anyway, Zero has a little bit of talking problem. He doesn't like talking to anyone. And while Stanley was talking about his little scuffle with the shoes of, you know, Sweet Feet, the baseball player, I know my sports, Zero ends up speaking and asking about details about the shoes. Little bit sussy if you ask me. So throughout this movie, they do a back and forth like flip-flop of flashbacks and goes back to the beginning. And normally that's pretty hard to like control and actually make sense and not feel weird, but I feel like they did a pretty good job of it in this movie. As we get a little bit of a flashback of Stanley talking to his dad, telling a story about his grandfather, how he was robbed by Kissin' Kate Barlow, who's another big important character in this movie. Because Kissin' Kate Barlow is like an outlaw who, after she kills dudes and robs them, she kisses them. But after telling the story about Stanley's grandpa, they say that he ended up surviving out in the desert by making it to God's thumb, which important plot point later on.
You take a bad boy, make him dig holes all day in the hot sun, and it turns him into a good boy. That's our philosophy here at Camp Green Lake. Start digging.
So on Stanley's first day out, Mr. Sir tells him like, yo, if you find something nice and cute and the warden likes it, you get the day off. So obviously it's like, yo, what are we looking for? And then he just says, nothing. You dig holes, you make a bad boy a good boy. That's how this whole camp works. That just makes sense. Philosophy. This is how the world works, dude. Dig a hole, now you're good. You're a good kid now. So now this is the part where we get the whole backstory of his great-great-grandfather, the one who basically started the curse to his entire family. So he desperately wanted to marry this girl, but the problem is her father wouldn't give him a blessing because he needed a pig. He wanted him to give him like a very big pig in order for him to give him his blessing. I don't know. Old times. So Madame Zeroni, this witch wizard girl who voices Yzma, she tells him to grab the small pig, go up the mountain, sing a fancy song, make them drink out of the little pond up there and do that for like a few months, and then you'll have a big pig, and then you'll win the girl. But there's a little catch. After he gets the big pig and, you know, gets the girl, then Madame Zeroni needs to be taken up to the top so she can drink out of the water. I don't get it. A little bit strange, but that's what's happening. But the problem is, the girl that he likes didn't really have a brain. She's kind of really stupid. So he got a pig about the exact same size as the other guy who wanted to marry her, and she got to pick. And when she got to pick, she couldn't decide between the fat, gelatinous man who's spitting food and his eyes are crossed and the handsome guy. So obviously he got angy-wangy and then left to America and forgot Madame Zeroni. So now his whole family is cursed for all eternity. Wah! So on one of Stanley's little dig, he ends up finding a little fossil with little fishies on them. And then we start being able to tell that they are actually looking for something in particular, because like he didn't care about the fossils. He said the warden isn't interested in fossils, so we obviously can tell that the warden is interested in finding something. So then X-Ray gives the little bully talk like, yo, I've been here a long time. You're the newbie. If you find something, give it to me so I can have the day off. I want my day off. So that little transition of fishy fossils says, yo, there used to be a lake here. Let's transition back into the old Western days where racism was poggers. Little interesting fact, that bald man is actually the author of the book Holes. Yeah, I can pop out interesting facts here and there. I know a few things. I Googled it. So now we get to meet Sam, a dude who just loves onions. You got a problem? You got measles? You got mumps? He's got the onion for it, man. He's got the onion for it.
I can fix that.
Not now. We're not doing that right now.
I can fix that.
Not only do his onions basically cure all ailments, including cancer, but it also, you know those yellow spotted lizards, that could basically kill you in an instant? Apparently his onions, Sam onions, lizards don't like them. A little bit of a important thing for later. Yo, and Miss Catherine over here, she trading her peaches for Sam's onions, you know, like they're trading that. I feel like that's like a symbol for something.
Yo, girl, do you got some peaches? Because I got some onions, you know what I'm saying? That's not a thing. That's not a thing.
But while they're trading their peaches and onion, these rich white dudes over here being like, yo, I want a piece of that girl. Yo, give me her peaches. Yo, misogyny. Women is property. You know, the old West. You guys get it. Oh yeah, I guess a little side note. Stanley is now going to be called Caveman by all of his friends. That just happens. So now we get to sit down for a little bit of a therapy session, a little bit of counseling. And this is where the counselor really shines in this movie with Zero. So again, Zero, someone who is very introverted and doesn't like talking to anyone. This counselor's version of getting him to talk is to belittle and demean him in front of everyone.
You think you're better than all this?
I like digging holes.
You're in the right place for it, buddy boy.
So Caveman ends up finding a bullet in the ground that says KB with a heart, which I shouldn't spoil it yet. This whole video is a spoiler. Why do you guys care? You know what it is. You know what happens. Come on. So then X-Ray the next day gives the bullet to Mom, and then Mom calls the warden because this is actually something she's looking for. So the warden comes out here and she's like, yo, I'm stoked. This is some good shit. Everyone dig in this spot, in the hole that X-Ray dug. Dig it now. But the problem is, that's not the right hole. And the warden's kind of a little bit of a sassy baka where she's kind of like, excuse me. Like that's like her whole shtick. It gets a little bit annoying after a while, but like anytime someone says something wrong to her, excuse me. That's just like her character pretty much. So now the Sam and Mary Lou romance, you know, we're going back in time again, starting to heat up a little bit. He goes inside the school, notices there's a leak up there, and then he goes, are you serious? He was saying it the whole video. And the only time I'm wanting you to say it. So he keeps fixing things here and there, and you know, he's like, I could fix that. I could fix that. You know, every time he fixes something. So since this is the Old West, Mrs. Catherine kind of teaches all of the old guys how to read and stuff because, you know, they're stupid. And then the guy whose daddy owns the lake and the entire town, Mr. Walker, he goes up, he's like, yo, hey girl, you want to take a ride on my Lamborghini boat? It's got an engine. It floats pretty fast. And she's like, nah, dude. And he ain't happy about that. He ain't happy about that at all. It's about to get sad up in here. So Sam walks in on Mrs. Catherine crying and then says his legendary smooth-ass line, like the smoothest line any man in the world could ever say, "I can fix that."
I can fix that.
If you're expecting to kiss me right now, I'm sorry. I'm just, no.
I can fix that.
We are not having a romantic moment right now. That's not what we're doing here.
Fix that.
You stop walking towards me. Get away. So, unfortunately, in the Old West, racism was somewhat poggers back then. And Mr. Walker ended up seeing, a black man kissing a white woman. And you could all kind of tell where this is going. So in a fit of rage, they burn down the entire school and then just murder Sam. Man, the Old West was just like top notch, dude. Dude, they even killed his mule, his donkey, whichever one. Oh, dude. Oh, I hate that. I forgot about that. They killed his So anyway, during that whole backstory of Sam dying and all that different stuff, throughout the whole thing, we were kind of bouncing back and forth between them digging like a buttload of stuff just within the area that X-Ray found the bullet. He didn't really find it, but that's why they didn't find anything else. They were digging in the wrong area. So eventually they were like, yeah, we're not finding anything. Go back to your individual holes. So Miss Catherine, obviously distraught and very pissed off, turns into an absolute outlaw badass who in this movie has ended up being called Kissin' Kate Barlow. She goes up to the sheriff, bop, dead. Kiss, goodbye. And that's basically how Kissin' Kate Barlow came to be. So this next part kind of just shows how awful the warden is. Magnet steals Mr. Sir's sunflower seeds, throws it into Stanley's hole, and he gets taken back to the warden. The warden puts on rattlesnake venom, freaking nail polish, and then scratches the shit out of Mr. Sir's face and then tells Stanley to get the fuck out and go back to his hole. What a classy lady. But the reason this part's important is because when Stanley came back, he noticed that Zero dug all of Stanley's hole because Zero's just like a really good digger. And then Stanley and Zero kind of make this little agreement. If Zero helps Stanley dig his hole because Stanley kind of sucks at digging, then Stanley will teach Zero how to read because Zero doesn't know how to read. And then comes the best part of the movie where Zero snaps. So obviously all the fellas aren't really happy that Zero's helping out Stanley with his hole because it's not fair. So the warden's like, yo, don't do that and don't teach him how to read because he's too stupid. And then they just start like berating the shit out of Zero. Obviously the counselor mostly, the dude who's supposed to help out young struggling children is just sitting there berating the shit out of Zero and calling him an idiot. And then Zero straight whacks him in the face with the shovel and just runs away. Best part of the movie. So then these assholes have a little conversation about like, how do we make this kid disappear? Because they don't care about Zero at all, and they would prefer him to die out there and basically wipe his record and act like he was never there. So Zero, little backstory of him, he lost his mother when he was younger and he can't find her, and so he basically lived out on the streets for the majority of his life, and they found him on the street. So they assume he's just a homeless kid and they could just act like he was never there, let him die out there, basically. Really solid people, really top of the line people. So then Stanley gets the really good idea to try to steal Mr. Sir's truck and drive it and pick up Zero, to bring water to him. But it ends up failing and he drives into a hole. But it was a good idea. It was a good idea. So Stanley ends up just running away to find Zero, and on his way, he just finds a bunch of random holes, which is just like, why? Like, I get it. Zero enjoys digging holes, but if you are out in the wild, in a desert, and you don't have any water, the first thing I wouldn't do, even if I love digging holes more than my life, would just dig holes. Wear myself out, make myself more tired. It seems stupid. But anyway, Stanley ended up finding Zero in a little boat that was flipped over with a bunch of peaches in it. Don't you remember someone who enjoyed making peaches, a little bit of peach onion action, you know what I'm saying? And this part, I didn't realize how utterly ridiculous this next part is. So Stanley and Zero, they see the mountain, like a little mountain off in the distance, which looks like a thumb. Little sussy. Remember something about God's thumb? How his grandfather ended up surviving for like 16 days out in the desert on God's thumb. So instead of going back to camp, they decided they're going to try to make it up to God's thumb instead. And this part, the reason it's so ridiculous is these teenagers, these little kids, they are scaling a goddamn mountain. We ain't talking about like scaling, there's like a little pathway that goes over there. We're talking about rock climbing, like professional rock climbing with zero ropes, like full on like 90-degree angle climbing up a cliff. These little teenage kids. What is this? So during a portion where Stanley was climbing a literal straight up angle 90-degree angle cliff, he ends up almost falling, and so Zero hands him the shovel. And another part that doesn't make sense to me, instead of Zero just like grabbing like the handle, or not really the handle, but like the butt of the shovel, he grabs the blade of the shovel to try to like lift him up, which is just stupid because he ends up slicing the shit out of his hand. Like this is something that obviously the plot, it has to do that, but it's like, that's so dumb. It's so stupid. And this is where it all comes together. The story all makes sense now. Remember Madame Zeroni, the one who cursed his whole family and said that Stanley Yelnats had to carry Madame Zeroni up the mountain? Well, it just turns out that Zero's real name is Hector Zeroni. So since Hector cut up the shit out of his hands, he's losing a little bit of blood. He passes out. So Stanley ends up having to carry him up the mountain. Interesting. That poses many questions. Number one, how the hell did his great-great-grandfather carry that pig up the mountain? They had to scale it, dude. They had to literally rock climb up this mountain. What, did they just do it with the pig on his back? Okay, I'm asking too many questions now. So they finally make it to the top of God's thumb. Turns out there's actually water on top of that. What is there? What is there, you ask? Some delicious, delectable onions. Let me just take a nice bite out of this onion. I mean, I guess if you're like dying of hunger, maybe you'll just chomp on a goddamn onion. But they just like plow through like 20 onions at least. And not only that, okay, we're missing a little minor detail here. He was supposed to bring Madame Zeroni up the mountain and sing the song. But it turns out that song that was sung through generation and generation, it was just stuck in Stanley's head at that moment for some reason. So Stanley sang the song. Curse is lifted. Whoa, it has been done. And not only that, but while Stanley is eating them onions, turns out his lawyer came to Camp Green Lake and is like, yo, bitch, where's Stanley? You got some fucked up shit going on here. So it starts looking like these three little dummies in Camp Green Lake about to get in some trubs. So let me give you a little bit of backstory of the warden that kind of explains her whole situation in this camp. So she basically built this whole camp in order to find Kissing Kate Barlow's treasure, because Kissing Kate Barlow hid it throughout this entire desert. So her grandfather and her great-grandfather basically just forced every generation into just constantly digging holes, and then they gradually created this camp in order for a bunch of kids to just dig holes for them to find Kissing Kate's treasure. But it turns out Stanley remembers where he found the bullet because he put a giant rock there. So he goes down to that hole he snuck in there in the middle of the day and just starts digging. And it looks like, they found the red X. But a little catch here, they find the treasure. Turns out there's a little bit of a yellow spotted lizard trap. Genuinely don't understand how like 20 yellow spotted lizards were living in the ground right next to it. Not much sense there. But anyway, they're not getting bit. You want to know why? Because of Sam's onions. Sam, he fixed it. You can fix it, Sam. He did it. Yes, Sam, you go. Not only that, but Zero, with his, word teaching lessons from Stanley, can finally read a couple words. So he read Stanley Yelnats on the chest itself. The chest that Kissing Kate Barlow stole from his great-grandfather. Oh my God, it's all coming together, baby. It's all coming together. So here's all that what happens in the end. They end up getting out with the chest because, the yellow spotted lizards don't care about biting him because of the onions. Stanley ends up taking home the treasure. All of the three dumbos who run the place all end up getting arrested for just basically child abuse. And basically, I guess you could say attempted murder or just leaving them to die. And on top of that, the feet, man, the stinky feet. They found the discovery of stinky feet. How to fix it is onions and peaches. Does this work IRL? No. Please do not put onions and peaches in your shoes. It's not gonna work. So Stanley makes billions of dollars from the treasure in that chest. They end up buying a mansion. They have all of his friends over from the digging site. Oh yeah, on top of that, the desert that it never rained. It starts raining. Everything's great. Everyone's happy. Oh my God, did you like it? I liked it, are you going to like the video? Yes, you are. You're going to do it right now. Click the like button. Oh my God, yes. Oh God, I'm out of control. I'm wild. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, a classic. One of like the best nostalgic movies, honestly, in my opinion. Still good to this day. I love watching it every single time. How all of these little intertwining pieces gradually come together is just perfect. Now, don't get me wrong, they are basing it off the book, and the book did it amazingly. And the movie, how it adapted, did really good as well. So thank you everyone for watching this video. I hope you like Holes. I hope you like me. Please subscribe, like the video, tell your parents, tell your friends about me. Yeah, just tell them about me. Tell them how cute I am. Tell them what's up, you know? Bye.
Now it's time to walk away. I hope you enjoyed your stay. Did you laugh or cry or maybe subscribed? I'll thank you either way. You know I will miss you. I hope you return. Tell your friend or your mother to get me more views, please.